welcome to another edition of Mortgage Talks. I'm your host, Adam Hires. All right, today we're going to just jump right in, and this is not going to be a long lesson, but it's something that I want to be very clear about because I get a lot of questions about this. And that is, when do you need to hire someone? When do you need to hire someone? Don't forget to download my free 12-week business transformation playbook on hirescoaching.com today. It's packed, juicy, and all good, with all good stuff in there. So, all right, this is a topic that is, goes to mortgage industry, goes to real estate, goes to own your own business, your entrepreneur, etc. I got a gnat somehow try to smack me upside the face while I'm talking here. I'm not sure what that was about. Keep rolling. But anyway, that's a question, I'm asked. People call me up. I was called 3 times this last week just specifically for that question by, a couple mortgage loan officers and, somebody that was an entrepreneur. Like, when do you hire someone? And so that is one of those things where a lot of times if you're asking, you probably already need to hire somebody. That's most of the time. But what I would say is there's 3 things for me that really stand out. 1, if your service level is suffering. 2, if your happiness is suffering. And 3, if your prospecting time is suffering. So for you mortgage loan officers, for example, if you're out there and your loans are starting to be harder and tougher because you don't have the staff, your staff is not, you don't have enough staff, and you're taking a little longer to close, there's more, bottlenecks, etc., then you probably need to hire, right? And so, there's a lot of things around that, right? When you go to hire someone, a lot of fear goes behind hiring somebody. And I talk about all the time. I talk about another podcast, if you want to refer back to salesman versus CEO mindset. It's specifically talking about the mindset behind, the differences between a CEO and a salesperson and when you're going to hire. What I could say is that, again, if your service level is suffering, then you're going to need to go ahead and probably hire somebody. You're at least going to have to be looking very hard. And so right now, a lot of times where, mortgage industry is good, people go, well, I'm going to hold on, not hiring anybody because I don't know when it's going to come back down, which is a very, very limited mindset because, if you're doing really well now, it's time to push in and grab more market share and be able to gain leverage for later. Even if the market goes back down, you can still have a bigger market share. But if you don't hire and the service levels keep going down, then all of a sudden your partnerships drop off, your referrals go down, et cetera, and then all of a sudden you're in a tailspin. So your service levels have to be there, right? You can't have bad service, just can't have it. So number 1, you need to hire somebody if your service levels are going down, if your time frame's is going up to close it, et cetera, and specifically if you can add somebody that service level would increase. Number 2, your happiness. This could be number 1, whatever however you want to list it. But if you're not happy because you're stressed because you have this business and it's bottlenecking, then your sales activity is not going to be as strong. Even if you're doing as much sales activity, you're probably stressed. And when you're more stressed, it's not as good, right? Your conversations are not as good. They're not as fluid. You just don't feel good. You don't feel bright, shiny, and just happy, right? So your happiness has to be there. And happiness goes into how much time you're going to have away from the office, how much vacation time you're going to have. So, again, this is one of those things where you're out there, you're making $120,000 a year or what have you, and you're wanting to make $250,000 and up to $500,000. You're going to have to add people, and you don't want to add people because a lot of other factors because you're scared. But really, it's eating into your happiness right now because you're doing that amount of, you're making that amount of money, but you just don't have the staff there, so you're not happy, and you definitely are not going to be happy, if you try to do more loans. And which this is a time to 100% already added somebody to your staff. Then it's just about confidence to go, hey, listen, I'm going to do more sales activities. I'm going to have more time off. And that's the whole thing about grind. Grind's one of those things where, people just get this wrong. Grind is a great thing. You want to grind, but it's about grind as hard as you can, as fast as you can, resting, right? That's the same thing you do in lifting weights. You're going to pound the weights, rest, hydrate, all that good stuff to make you stronger, right? Same thing when it comes to loans. If you're just pushing 78 hours a week, you're not taking any time off, your sales activities are not going to be as strong, they're not going to be as fluid, you're not going to be as happy. So you can do a lot more in less time. Have to add the staff, you have to be happy about what you're doing. And now, we can go into happiness a lot, right? But certainly it's hard to be happy when you're working tons of hours and you're stressed. It's a very, very difficult thing to go through and say, okay, I'm going to have these great conversations all day long when I'm just really stressed out of my mind and I don't know if the thing's going to close on time, all this good stuff. So, and the third thing is really, if you calculate your dollars per hour, we talked about this before, if you calculate your dollars per hour and you're charting how many hours per week that you're in green time, sales activities, trying to get more business, and you're tracking that and it starts going down, just keeps going down. Some people, and I've done this, we think we're getting away with stuff. It's like, well, business is still coming in, business is good. And it's like, well, that's going to go down. It's like, water dripping on a rock. Eventually it's going to leave a mark, and it's going to leave a huge mark. All of a sudden, boom, stuff's going to dry up because you don't have as much sales activity. You have to always be out there, gaining new partnerships, getting referrals, etc., for your business to keep growing and thriving and even maintaining, right? It's not even going to maintain throughout a long period of time if you don't have the sales activity. So I want you to look at and really honestly think, how many hours per week am I prospecting? And if your prospecting is going down, you're seeing it going down, you went from 15 hours a week to now you're at 10, know that that's going to really quickly at some point hit you hard with, decreased income. And now you may have been getting away with some of this a year because you got refinances coming in, etc. But listen, where's your purchases at? Are those going down? Eventually, this is going to catch up to you in some form or facet, even if you're going to maintain. Again, what more could I do if I had more hours per week to go ahead and invest in green time? So if I add somebody, I can definitely get more hours in green time activity. So again, this is really short, succinct, but I want to be that way because I want you to just go back and honestly assess and say, and go back to the CEO versus salesman mindset, refer back to that as well as far as the mindset. But those are the three things. So do I need to add somebody? Is my service level just as high as it could be? 2, is my happiness there? Stress level's good because, if they're not, I need to add somebody. And number 3, is my sales activities going down because of how many staff members that I have? If I added somebody else, can I add back the amount of hours it took me to get here, or it's going to take me to get the next level? So think of those 3 things of why you need to add somebody. That is when to add. Don't listen to outside people. I've heard other people say, well, my boss thinks this, or this person thinks this, so I shouldn't add somebody until this, number. Listen, you have to think for you, okay? You have, whatever number that is. Some people may be able to run 20 loans a month and have just one person on their staff and be fine and everything else, or maybe they're not fine. They just don't know. You think, well, they're fine, and maybe they're really not happy. So don't believe all that stuff too, but it doesn't matter. If you're running 10 now and you have one salesperson or one staff member, and you feel like to add one more, I could add a couple, be happier, have more time with my family, etc., then do it. It's up to you to run your business the way you want to run your business and create the life you want to create, and just be happy doing what you do. If you're in it for the long haul, you'll do things to make yourself happy, make yourself profitable, and just be the business and a person that you want to be to your clients, to yourself, and to your family. Go out there and crush it. Limited risk equals limited income. No choice for growth, legacy, impact.